Alright guys, welcome to smarthelping.com Excel models. Today I have built, well, it was a client's request, but everything I built was on top of what they had. So the whole point of the sheet is Gantt scheduling with multiple crews or groups, plus a revenue pipeline and summary, and then I've added some charts as well. So I've made it is tried to make it as simple as possible, and the best and easiest way to walk you through this is just to actually pretend I'm doing an entry myself. Now this will go at the moment down to 220 jobs. I think I've got it coded for 214 jobs you could enter at one time. And the idea here is to use it for 1 year. You can use it for basically 1 to 2 years at a time, and then you would want to have a new sheet for the next year. And the whole purpose of this is mainly so the CEO or the manager or whoever's tracking this stuff, the owner, can see, based on the data entered here, what crews are working on what jobs and what is the total revenue averaged out over the time of the job, and the total profit averaged out over the time of the job on a monthly basis. So we've done some cool things with color coding. I'll just show you each of the tabs here before I even get into it. This is going to be the schedule. We've got our revenue summary, which will be by job dynamically updated. And by month, you just enter the first date of the first month here, the first day of the first month, and then the next 23 months populate over. Then we've got our profit, which is the same as revenue, but it's just taking the profit, which will be based on, you can see here there's a estimated revenue, and then you've got estimated margin, and then based on the margin you've got labor and other costs, and then you get to a, if you subtract labor costs from the margin, you get to a profit, which is being populated throughout, which I'll show you kind of how that's going to work with the date ranges and the average per month. But that's going to populate here. And then you've got lists. This is just to define the drop downs that are needed, and also color coding for the Gantt chart. And then we've got our visuals here. We're going to show monthly average revenue and profit. Also, we're going to show jobs won per month and average profit per job. And then I've got your instructions here. So let's go ahead and build a couple jobs to show you how it works here. Stand by. Okay, here we're going. Yep. Okay, so here's what we have for data entry. Column A, unique job ID. So we could just put, let's say, A1 is a job ID. Job name, we're just going to say job 1. Crew is a drop down, so we pick between 1 through 7. Let's just say crew 1. The status, this doesn't really affect anything, but it could. That'd actually obviously be extra work for me to build out for you, but at the moment this status column D is just so you could write it in a status, so let's say pending or 1 or whatever. It doesn't matter what you put here, it's not going to affect any of the calculations or anything, but just for your own purposes you can put a status. Priority, you can put a priority in here, high, medium, low. That's again just for your own reference, but if you wanted me to work further on the model, and what I've done in all my models, I build it so it can be the most useful, but also the most easily worked on and adjusted to meet your situation without having to take extra time. So right now, priority could be put in whatever, but if you wanted another summary, I could build summaries of calculations, or you could do it with this model to calculate, how many jobs you have at each priority level, how much revenue you have at each priority level, whatever you want, whatever's most important to you that you want to track, that can all be done, no problem. But the key is it's structured in a way so we can easily calculate that. So you put priority there, but again, that's not affecting any of the current calculations. Same with probability winning. You could put 100%, 50%, and you can also do summaries with that, like how much revenue you have at each probability on a monthly basis or annual or however you want. But again, right now that function's not built in because it's just too dynamic for each individual business, and it's likely that it would change from whatever I put it as, so it's just here as a placeholder. Now here you're going to put a revenue number. Now this is important. So you put, let's say we got a $25,000 job, contract job coming up. We'll say estimated margin is 45%. You can see my margin dollar amount pops in automatically. Then I've put in my costs, labor costs, etc. Let's say I'm projecting it'll cost $5,000. There's a labor ratio, which is basically saying 2.25. That's saying that of my margin, the amount of cost is taking after that in labor or other costs is 2.25 times. Well, the labor and other costs are 2. If you multiply that by 2.25, you'll get to this total margin figure. So if this was over 12,000 or over 11,250, you would see a labor ratio of under 1. And obviously that's not good because you won't be making any money. So I'll say 6,500. Now this is also important, the start and end date, which is going to be what's flowing through to the Gantt chart and the revenue and profit charts. So let's just assume this starts on January 5th, 2017, and the end date we're projecting is on the 18th. Now we also have other things that are not really being summarized, but you can put it in for your reference: customer address, salesman, estimate, last contact, roof system. Well, that was my last client, was for roofing, but this could be product, service, category, job type. These are just filler fields. I've grouped them all up so you can open them or hide them here. And then these calculations are pretty complicated, but basically it's trying to figure out to get you accurate summaries, which we're going to go over in time here as we go through this, to get accurate monthly summaries of the amount of money you have projected coming in. Alright, so we put this first row in. So let's see, we've got it January to the 5th to the 18th, projecting 25,000 in revenue. Profit's going to be about 5,000. So let's go first to the schedule. So you can see here we got 2 red boxes that auto filled in. Now that's because our formulas are pulling, testing the start and end date, and then mapping it to the right crew. So you see crew 1 was chosen, and it's red. If I were to have chosen crew 2, you can see it changes to orange. Crew 3, it'll be yellow. Crew 4 is green. 5 blue, and you get the point. And then obviously that helps so you can know what different crews are working where in an easily color-coded fashion, and also see the schedule. And this is a weekly schedule. Okay, so then we have revenue. Now this is assuming it all happens in 1 month, so it's all going to 25,000 in January. Profit, same deal, 4,750. Now let's say we go to another month. Let's say this goes into February. Now the schedule that automatically populates now based on the crew I picked is going out to February for that week. We've got revenue now split up between 2 months, so you've got 25,000 total, but split up over 2 months, so that's all automatically calculating. You've got your profit, same thing, that's doing 4750, but it's over 2 months. And let's see, here's our visuals, and let's see, our jobs one. Now I haven't tested the jobs one tab. We've got our formula in here. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see, job list greater than 0. Oh. Well, I didn't have my dates on the right thing here, so let's drag this down. And now we've got some numbers coming in. Perfect. Just drag that across. Okay, and now that should show up. Yep, so there now we're gonna have a line chart, and that's of jobs one over here, and then our bar is actual profit, so you can kind of see your profit. And actually that's profit per job per month, so that's saying, well, there's only one job, so it's going to be whatever the profit was for the month, 2,300. But it'll get interesting and help you once you have a couple jobs. So let me go ahead, now you kind of see how that works. The revenue, how this is going is counting the number of months that the job happens in. So even if you have on January 29th it starts and it ends on February 1st, the revenue is going to be split over both months. And then if it's in the same month, it's just going to be in that one month. And that goes all the way out. I mean, if you go, you can see if I put this out like 7 months here, you can see the schedule that auto updates all the way over, and look at the revenue. The revenue will now split what's happening over that time frame. You get to the even 25,000. And since there's only one job right now, the summary is just showing that one job's revenue. And then profit, same deal. Now if you go over to the visual, you've got average revenue and then profit per month. And then now, this is different, and this did not change because it's just taking the revenue for that month divided by jobs one. Since there was only the one job one in January, and then you've got all that revenue going out, it's just showing that number. Now once we have, you know, a full pipeline going, you could see the average profit that's allocated to each month, and then how many jobs are won in each month. So it's a little bit of an obscure, it's not as clear as just showing the revenue and profit over each month, but it's helpful, and you can see your jobs won each month at the very least. I was just trying to think of some kind of a metric to put on top of that, so I did average profit per job per month. Alright, let's add some more. So let's just say I do, and let's do like 8 more, 7 more. So job 1, we'll go just job 1 through 7, and we'll just pick crew 1 through 7. Status, obviously that doesn't matter, as you know. Revenue, let's say 10,000, 50,000, 5,000, 100,000, 12,000, and then another big one, 95,000. I'll just give them some margins. Let's just say they're all at 40%. And then labor costs are, let's see, let's just do half, so 2,010. Oh, 10, 1. Gives us some different numbers. Now let's get some dates in here. So I'm trying to make it look so it's somewhat interesting on the Gantt chart. So let's just say we have, now we'll do 1 a month. And then this will be, so the end is going to be 3. Now that should give us 1 job a month. Now let's say this job goes out to, little bit further. And this job goes out a little bit further. Oh, come on. I hate when Excel does that when you have multiple tabs. Okay. So now you can see what our schedule looks like. So you can see we've got crew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There's when they all are working. We can see if there's any overlaps. No, there's not. If you want to see what an overlap scenario looks like, I'll go ahead and do that. Let's say we do crew 1. Let's say we also do crew 1 on for job 7 on January to Feb. Yeah, let's do to April. So now if we go over to our schedule, you can see, well, I got crew 1 here and crew 1 here, so obviously that doesn't make any sense. And this will probably more so you can figure out if anything's overlapping at like 1 week at a time. Obviously you're going to know if you have a crew schedule for 8 weeks on the same, 2 different jobs for 8, this long, you're going to know what's going on. But once you get into the detailed your pipeline, it might not be that simple, so it's important that you have your dates right, and then you can really use this color-coded sheet to figure out what's going on. Revenues, now you can see all our revenues are all broken up, but the key is if we sum up all of these, we have 297,000. You can see down here, that's the sum. Now that should equal the total of our revenue, and it does, 297,000, and it's evenly broken up across each month. And you can see by job or by the job. So job 1 is there, 2, 3, 4, and then profits doing the same exact thing, but just taking the profit rather than the revenue. And now let's see what our visual looks like. So now our visual, interesting, monthly average revenue and profit. Now this is actually pretty helpful because you can really visually see how the aggregate is changing, and how your revenues are changing by month. Now okay, so we don't need this bottom axis. So this is revenue per job. And our line is, our bar is actually jobs 1. Let's go ahead and add data labels to that for jobs 1. I don't want to add data labels to the revenue because it's just going to be too messy, but now that kind of helps you see more of what's what. So that makes sense. 3 jobs, 1 in January, then 1 in each of the following months. Let's kind of switch it up. Let's make another one in, let's put this one in March 2. So now you can see this auto updates, and there we go. Now we got none in April, 2 in March. You can see how it all adjusts. And this will be meaningful to you when you actually have your real numbers in here, and then you can kind of see a better idea of what's going on in your organization or business. I guess that's pretty much it, and hopefully my demonstration has given you a good feel for what this can do and help you plan out your cash flows, your scheduling, and all in one spot. And I will leave this, I'll leave these examples in here in the actual example model that I give you if you purchase it, so that you can go ahead and kind of refer back to this video and kind of play with the numbers, so then you can figure out how you're going to play with it, or build it with your own numbers. But it should be pretty self-explanatory. And then if you need any have any questions or help, I'll answer them in email, or we can have a quick talk if you need explained how to use it. Anything outside the scope of what this does, like I said, it'll be hourly billings. My hourly rate is on the site under my contact page at smarthelping.com. We can do from anywhere from 1 to 10 hours at a time. This model I'll have on smarthelping.com. If you click in the description box below, you'll see the link to the web page that has this, and after you purchase it, I will send it to you via email. And I do have, as you know, I have two tiers. I have a $45 tier, which is a mid level, and then I have a $125 tier, which is the upper tier. This model is not too complex. It's really like a simple, like something that any business can use. So I'm going to put it in the mid tier. It'll be $45, and that's it. Hopefully, we'll get some people that can use this, and it'll help them manage their business better. This is smarthelping.com.